Let's make some whiskey cocktails with Old Forester Rye. What's the difference between rye and bourbon? Bourbon is made primarily with corn, and rye is made with rye. It's more peppery and spicy than bourbon. I think it's perfect for mixing. You can play off of its bold flavor and it won't get lost in your cocktails. Old Forester Rye is an incredible value at about 25 bucks a bottle. It's 100 proof and is 65% rye, 20% malted barley, and 15% corn. To qualify as a rye, a whiskey has to be made of at least 51% rye. This one is lower in rye than some and higher in barley than most. Let's dive into the cocktails. First, we'll make an Old Pal. The Old Pal is a negroni riff using rye instead of gin and dry vermouth instead of sweet vermouth. And this one is super simple to make. Just like a negroni, it is equal parts of each ingredient. So I'm going to put in 1 ounce or about 30 milliliters of the Old Forester Rye, 1 ounce of Campari, and 1 ounce of dry vermouth. As you see, I'm making this in a mixing glass. The general rule is if it's all booze, you stir it. Stir this for a good few seconds until the glass starts to get like a frost on it. And then we're going to double strain it into a chilled martini glass. And there's our Old Pal. Oh, and one final touch. We can't forget our lemon twist on our Old Pal. Our second drink is called Bag in the Isle. I found this recipe on the Old Forester website. At first glance, I thought they renamed the final word. However, this differs slightly. It's not equal parts like the final word. They use 3 times more rye than the other ingredients. They also replaced the green chartreuse with yellow chartreuse. To make the Bag in the Isle, we're going to start out with 1.5 ounces or 45 milliliters of Old Forester Rye, half an ounce of Luxardo Maraschino Liqueur, half an ounce of yellow chartreuse, and last but not least, half an ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice. And we are shaking this one since it has the citrus element in it. We'll double strain this one into our chilled coupe. I didn't plan on garnishing it, but I really feel like it needs a little something, so I'm going to drop a Luxardo cherry in. And there's our Bag in the Isle, courtesy of the Old Forester website. Alright, our third drink is going to be a root beer rye old fashioned. So this is going to follow the usual old fashioned template of just whiskey, sugar, and bitters. But I'm going to use a more interesting syrup that's got a root beer flavor to it. So for this one I'm going to start out with 2 ounces of the Old Forester, a few dashes of the Old Forester Bohemian Spiced Cherry and Chocolate Bitters. I'm going to use about a bar spoon of the A&W Root Beer Dessert Topper. A little of it goes a long way. I'm going to go ahead and add an ice sphere to my glass. And I'm going to stir it with some just 1-inch cubes. Okay, and I'm going to strain this into my Spin shot glass. Doc Martinez of Old Fashioned Ways actually sent me this glass. And speaking of old fashions, if you like old fashions, check out his channel because he does lots of them. As a final touch, I'm going to add these cherry cola cherries from the Old Forge Distillery. Okay, and there's our root beer rye old fashioned. Alright, that's a nice lineup of drinks with Old Forester Rye. Let's give them a taste test. Now the first one is the Old Pal. Remember, it's a negroni riff that uses rye and dry vermouth. That one's really good, but the one thing I would change about it is I think I would bump up the rye a little bit. I think the Campari overpowers it a little bit, and with this being similar to a Boulevardier, which also uses whiskey, I kind of thought I should bump it up like the Boulevardier does. They usually do a slightly larger amount of the whiskey than equal parts. So this second one, the Bag in the Isle, they actually do that. It kind of goes by that equal parts template, but it has a lot more rye than the other components. I really love the last word and all of its riffs, so this is like naturally going to be really good to me. I've had it before, so I would highly recommend making a Bag in the Isle. And then this third one, the Root Beer Old Fashioned, I've made this one on my channel before. I have a short about it, and I got a lot of subscribers from that short, so maybe if you subscribe to the channel based on this, you'll really enjoy these other two as well. But I know this one is good. The root beer and the rye both have the spicy little kick to them. The root beer syrup even has a little bit of vanilla in it. This is one of my favorites. So which one of these rye cocktails are you going to make first? What kind of rye will you use and why? Let me know in the comments. If you're interested in more budget ryes, check out the affordable rye recommendations video on the channel Uncle Pete's Cocktail Shop. He makes a Manhattan out of 5 different budget ryes, including Old Forester. But before you do that, also consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!